Last night I dreamed that I went to heaven.
Oh, really? What was it like?
Well, as I was walking up the pearly gates, I felt something tugging on my arm. I looked around, and there was an old, ugly woman chained to my wrist. I tried to get her off, but I couldn't. She was chained on there for good.
Sounds more like a nightmare to me. What did you do?
I saw St. Peter standing there at the gate, so I asked him why that old woman was chained to my wrist.
What did she say?
He said that I had lived a pretty rotten life while I was on earth, and that old woman was a burden that I was going to have to bear with me throughout eternity in order to pay for all the rotten things I had done. I was just stuck with her.
Well, that's terrible. Why, at least you were in heaven.
That's the way I decided to look at it. So I went on into heaven, just dragging my burden along behind me. And guess what? While I was walking along those streets of gold, I saw you in heaven too.
I was in your dream?
You sure were, and you had a woman chained to your wrist too. But she wasn't ugly, she was young and beautiful.
Yeah, man. Girl chained to my wrist. Hey, I think I like your dream after all.
I didn't think it was fair, so I went over and asked St. Peter why it had an old ugly woman chained to my wrist, while you had a pretty girl chained to your wrist.
So, what did he say?
He said, well, that's because that pretty girl lived a pretty rotten life too.
I think that was a cut down.
Brother Ted, when I was a young boy, I drove my dad's mule to town and was very late getting home that night. Boy, was my dad mad with me.
Why were you so late getting home?
Well, on my way back home, I picked up the preacher. And from then on, them mules didn't understand a thing I said.
Brother Billy, do you know the worst thing about buying a car with bucket seats?
No, what is it?
Not everyone has the same size.
Brother Ted, my doctor told me that 75% of people die in bed, but not me.
How do you know?
Because I started sleeping on the floor.
My wife and me have a 50-50 relationship.
How's that?
I tell her what to do and she tells me where to go.
Yeah, we got that fixed.
Sounds like there's a lot of them in that set. Brother Ted, I've hurt my toe really bad.
Do you want me to call a doctor?
No, silly, call a tow truck.
Brother Billy, the other day I was at the mall with my grandson where we got behind this large woman wearing a beeper. She was big as a small truck.
So, what happened?
All of a sudden, her beeper went off, and my grandson hollered and said, "Look out, Paw Paw," said she's backing up.
When I was a kid, I posed for a talcum powder commercial on television.
With a face like yours?
My face had nothing to do with it.
my left leg.
It's just old age.
Can't be right. Leg is the same age as my left one.
Brother Ted, a little bird told me what kind of a lawyer your dad is. Cheep, cheep.
Well, the duck told me what kind of doctor your dad is. Quack, quack. Brother Billy, these old pants have stuck with me through thick and thin.
I can tell. Do you have any others?
No, why would I need any more? These have stuck with me through thick and thin, and I'm not about to let them down now.
They'll catch on with you.
Brother Billy, I walked past your house last night and happened to look in the window and saw you kissing your wife.
The joke's on you, buddy. I wasn't even home last night.
Sister Lee.
Brother Ted, when my daughter was about 16 years old, I heard her praying one night.
What was she praying for?
She was praying, "Oh Lord, I ask nothing for myself, but will you please send my dear mother a son-in-law?"
Brother Billy, I just about got killed yesterday.
What happened?
Well, I was riding this horse when the saddle slipped and went underneath him. He was running and bucking, snorting, and just about kicked me to death.
How'd you get off of him?
The manager at Walmart came and unhooked
The other day, my neighbor came home with a dog under each arm, and I asked him what he was doing with these dogs.
What did he say?
He said he got them for his wife. I told him I thought he made a pretty good trade.
You know, Brother Billy, that beef tongue sandwich I had the other day, we ate at the restaurant in jail, was pretty good.
How can you eat anything that's been in some animal's mouth?
Hey, you ordered eggs. I didn't say nothing.
Something to think about. Brother Ted, I'll bet you don't know anything about farm life. I'll even bet you wouldn't even know a bull from a heifer.
Well, back home where I'm from, we don't worry about that. We just throw them in a pen and let them figure it out for themselves. Brother Billy, my wife gripes all the time.
Where you at?
And
Well,
hello.
Oh, okay. I'm with you now. What does she gripe about?
She didn't want no washer and dryer, so he finally gave in and bought her a set.
I'll bet she was a happy heifer.
No, now she's still griping.
Why?
Now she's wanting electricity and running water.